Alrighty. How's Bitcoin doing today? Is it worth pulling up Quant Tower? Doesn't look like it's not doing anything. Damn, Apple pulled back a little bit. Came down about 2 points. The only thing that pulled back in our portfolio from the morning is Uber. We had a nice gain in the morning and then pulled all the way back. It's almost right on the day, actually. But Uranium, Petco, PayPal, Coinbase, they're all ripping. Looking really good. Pretty strong day on ES. We were completely breaking pretty much every single level except for the resistance on the all-time high. Volume is actually not even that high either. Volume is about half of relative. I'm actually going to be right back, guys. Let me grab some water real quick. All right, we're back. We are back. Take a look at Q's. Little double bottom on the 1 minute coming in. Look at this double bottom. Looks like a bulldog, to be honest. Bulldog with a perfect pivot. See if I can hold this little pullback here. You don't want it to be too deep. If it holds on to this 382, you should get a nice little breakout into these levels, 0.13, 0.5, 0.618. funny, by looking at the watch list, seeing how everything is just completely green, you'd think today was pretty exciting, but it really wasn't. Today was pretty damn boring. Everything just slow grinded up. Not a whole lot happened. Maintaining some pretty steady uptrends. Pretty much everything was healthy today, too. Nothing's getting extended. Nothing's outside their VWAP bands. Everything's holding up.
Yo, what's up?
Going on. Snapchat is one to watch. That weekly pivot is literally perfect to the penny. It's one of those pivots where, like, you had a pivot form, and then you had a lot of price action without any pivots. And then it came all the way back. Pivot acted as a perfect magnet, and just like we saw way back here in the bottom of 2020. If we can hold on to that pivot, this could be a very nice bounce here back into the 55 to 60 area. Regards, what's going on, man?
Huh?
Yeah, big day. One of the biggest flat and green days in the past few weeks for my portfolio, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Just straight green on everything. Uber's actually going red here. Little dirty bastard.
We were ripping before I laid down this morning, and I was hoping it was going to be that way when I woke up.
Yeah, I was telling them in Discord that it felt kind of like those old days we had back in September of 2020 where everything was pumping in the morning and then it just nuked for the rest of the day and faked us out. But today actually held up, so no fake out here. Hey, Raphael, you said good news for Tezos. Ubisoft is going to create new games using the Tezos network. Interesting. Problem with Ubisoft. Excuse me. Problem with Ubisoft is they haven't made a really great game in a long time. What was their last good game? Like Rainbow Six Siege? Ubisoft kind of became that meme where they would show off these crazy ass games at their like what was it called? It's not BlizzCon because that's Blizzard, but whatever their convention was called. I think it was like E3 or something. They'd show off like these crazy ass games, but they'd all be pre-rendered. They basically were like movies. And then when you actually got the game, it was like nothing like what they would show off. And they did that for like the past few Assassin's Creed. They did that for Rainbow Six Siege. Gave them a really bad rep.
I heard their games are really clunky too. I I don't know because I really don't play any games from them, but
Yeah, they're like Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six. They're all kind of a little weird. They're not as smooth as
I heard
something
that
like
Rainbow
Call of
Six
Duty.
is toxic.
It was fun when it first came out. I played it for a while, but it's toxic in the sense that like you'll be shooting at somebody or they'll be shooting at you, and just a random ass stray bullet will hit you in the head and you die instantly.
Because it's really tactical, right?
Yeah, so like you'll be watching the kill cam, and they'll literally just be spraying in your direction, not even like precisely aiming at your head. You'll get caught with a stray bullet and you're dead.
Hmm.
And it's
Like
it's
how
toxic, dude. But if you're playing like something like Counter Strike and you get caught with a headshot, you're like, oh, that guy's good. Like it's really hard to headshot people in that game. Like you have to be precisely aiming at their head. But in that game, it's kind of like RNG bullets just hit you out of nowhere. I don't know if they've done a lot of fixes since it first came out, but I'm sure it's better. That Bulldog failed. So for the Bulldog, you want it to stay above the 382. Once you lose the 382 and then you lose this little buy zone here, it's invalidated. So no more Bulldog here. It's actually getting bearish. If you lose 397, we can actually flip this fib. we can flip it like this. And this would be the bearish fib. The launch of the Ubisoft Quartz platform is the debut for NFTs for in-game items. That is something that I am interested to see how it plays out. Like imagine like World of Warcraft with NFTs for their in-game like legendary items and shit.
That would be dirty. Those would go so much money.
Yeah. Like take the rarest items for Counter-Strike, well, Counter-Strike, they kind of are NFTs already. But Counter-Strike, World of Warcraft, shit, Diablo, tournament NFTs, neckbeards would buy those things up. Shit, you can even do it like Halo, make like unique Halo skins or something. Check Tesla, yeah, we can take a look. Tesla's actually pretty green today. Holding that daily pivot. You almost came down to the gap, but as soon as you started testing the gap, it actually bounced right off of it. So like that's the high of the gap, that's the low of the gap, and it tested the high to the penny. And now we're back above the pivot. Not looking too bad. It could be like a massive bulldog on the 30-minute. It would need to push up a lot higher though. It needs to maintain this uptrend. Probably where the pivot is. And then start to pull back. But as long as you close above that daily pivot, which it looks like you're almost guaranteed to do, looks pretty good. Uranium bouncing right off that zone that we were looking, like these are my three ad zones. I ignored this zone because I thought I was going to go lower. Thankfully it did. So we didn't add here, and we added down here yesterday, and now we're getting a nice gain on our shares. If it does fail, my next ad zone is right down here, around 21, which I believe is a weekly or a monthly level. It's a monthly pivot. Yeah, so if we lose this level, our next ad would be down there on the monthly. I'm almost break even on uranium. I think my break even is somewhere around 27 to 28. So a little bit more of a bounce and we'll be fine. Finally getting a bounce on Petco. I did not add to Petco though. So we're going to need a little bit more of a boost out of this thing to turn a profit. I'm planning on holding this one long term though, so not too worried about the short term gains. Bitcoin looking a little weak, to be honest. Popped up in the morning, sold off, not able to reclaim that pivot, not able to reclaim the anchored VWAP. It looks like it wants to go for another test of that wick. Maybe down to like 46,000, 45,000. Until you reclaim the pivot, that's probably what I'd be targeting. Until you reclaim 52.7, I'd be targeting like the 50% of this wick, or yeah, the wick. Let me clean this chart up a little bit. Let's do this. I'm gonna mark out these levels. We don't lose them. But then we're going to delete this. Causing too much chop on my screen. Yeah, so if we don't reclaim this pivot right here, I'd target somewhere around that level, around 45.7. URG, is that uranium? I think that's a uranium company. Looks pretty decent on the weekly. You're holding a pivot, holding the 50-week moving average. And daily's holding a pivot, holding the 200. I think as long as you hold on to that like $1.30 range, should be fairly okay for a bounce. It is a penny stock though, so a little risky. Very low volume. The relative volume is only 3 million shares. That's extremely low. Thoughts on Boeing? I think the airlines and cruise lines and any travel is just still really hard to trade. I thought this was finally going to be the trend breakout, and then it probably would have been actually. And then we had the bullshit Omicron variant news and then nuked it again. So it's like Boeing goes up, new variant. Boeing goes up, new variant. It's untradeable, man. Unless you love getting just wrecked by news, it's really untradeable. Or if you're like trading it on a weekly to monthly time frame and you don't mind buying support around like 190 to 160 and holding on to it for 5 years. But short-term trading, it's like untradeable. Too much news. Same goes for almost every single airline, every single cruise line. They were doing pretty well the other day. It was actually one of the biggest gainers was Norwegian. But biggest gainer in what? Zoom out, you know what I mean? Zoom out, it's getting destroyed. So it doesn't matter if it's the biggest gainer for one day.
I got like a big channel drawn out on Boeing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in a weekly channel for sure.
But yeah, I wouldn't touch it either.
Like that's your
Apple,
channel on Boeing.
Apple made a new all-time high today, huh?
Dude, Apple was just completely all over the scanners. Just massive calls all day long.
You pick anything up this morning?
No, I bought stuff yesterday. Added to my
Nice.
PayPal shares, added to my uranium shares. I bought Uber. It was a good ad for most of my stuff.
I'm hoping this is not a retest here on IWM. A bearish retest.
Yeah, I know it was a little sketch.
If we pass the 21 to 50 and the trail, I'd feel a lot better.
Scary thing about IWM is that fucking volume on the sell side last week. Massive volume.
Yeah.
What happened to Intel? They had good news today. Did they end up ripping? Oh, they
They were up
ripped and then
11%
nuked.
this morning.
Yeah, so they had good news. We talked about it in the morning call. Let me actually find the article from the morning call. Where is it? Right here. Intel plans public listing of shares of its self-driving car business, Mobileye. That was the headline today that led that move up. The headline that moved Apple up was they got upgraded to a $200 target by Morgan Stanley. What are the triangles above the candles? Triangles. You mean these, like the blue and orange? Those are from the OTS trail. They're buy the dip and sell the rally signals. I use them in really strong trends to find opportunities to buy the dip or get out of a position that's bouncing. Like for example, ES on the weekly, when it gives these signals, it's usually a good opportunity to buy the dip, which we saw back in September and back in October of 2020. September again, August.
Deja, you don't have that Nest thermostat, do you?
No, I thought about getting one.
My mom wants me to get her that for Christmas.
Yeah, I thought about getting one, but I figured I wouldn't be lazy and just because I wanted to, because it, uh, if I'm in my office or something, I wanted to change it. I didn't want to have to like walk all the way up there to change it. But nothing wrong with my thermostat, so I just kept it. It's good for people who are not working from home. Like if if everyone is leaving the house and you're coming back, because it can set schedules. So like if everyone's away from home, it can turn your heat down, so it's not wasting electricity.
Oh, they have different models. I didn't even know they had. I thought it was only one model they had.
Yeah, I only saw like the circular one.
Yeah, they all look the same. They're just different colors. Oh, they got ones with like different finishes, like silver, stainless steel, bronze, and or I'm sorry, brass, black, like the ring around the outside, copper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is what you're talking about, the learning thermostat, like it learns your schedule and stuff.
Yeah, it will learn your schedule and you can set up your own schedule. So like if it realizes that you come home every day at 6 and you turn the thermostat up to 75, it will just start doing that for you. There's also one that you connect it to your phone and it will sense when you're like within 10 miles. And if like you're coming home, it will turn the thermostat on to whatever you want it to be.
I didn't know Google makes these things.
Oh, they own Nest.
Yeah.
They probably bought them out. That's all Google does. Instead of making their own companies, they just buy out fucking companies. I can't remember if their fucking deal with GoPro ever went through, or was it Go? I think it was GoPro. Or no, it wasn't GoPro. It was Fitbit. Anybody know in stream did that Google Fitbit deal go through? Because I was reading, it was like what a year plus ago. Google was trying to expand their health database, like all the data they have for health tracking, and instead of creating their own new database, they're just like, ah, fuck it, we'll buy Fitbit because Fitbit has a shit ton of data.
Dude, I don't know which one to buy. There's like so many different ones on fucking Amazon.
There should be a regular one that's like, I think it's like $130 or something. That's the
Yeah,
one
that's the
that,
that's the cheaper one.
yeah, that's the one that we used to sell at Home Depot, like fucking way back in the day when I was selling HVAC. What do I think about Play? If they have earnings, nothing I say is going to matter, to be honest, dude. It's completely based on earnings. But if they beat earnings, I would be targeting around 36 to 36.50. If it goes crazy on earnings, you could target 41. If it nukes on earnings, you're probably targeting around 25 to 24. But that's the easiest way to play earnings, is just look for pivots that are near price on both sides, and those are your targets. They beat their last couple of earnings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Past 5 earnings according to TradingView. Can't really trust TradingView though. Their earnings are usually completely wrong. The strategy gave you guys a very nice buy today on the indexes, or on almost any big tech. But the 3-minute buy that came in right at the open had a lot of VWAP support. You could have taken that buy right at the open, and it gave you about 43 points. NASDAQ, same thing, gave you about 220 points. And then same thing with Apple. Gave you about 2.5%. Not too bad. Same thing with Netflix.
Coming down a little bit right now.
Yeah, it might come back to VWAP. Let's see where SPY. Yeah, SPY's on VWAP right now. Breaking VWAP a little bit on SPY. What about Qs? Qs has not broken VWAP yet, so not too bad. IWM breaking, so is Dow.
Three of my girlfriend's friends came in from California this morning. Place is packed. Packed, dude.
That's funny. Are they staying over?
Yeah. Literally, this is one bed right now. Sleeps fucking 10.
Packed in like pigs.
Yeah.
You should start playing Call of Duty like we used to, fucking screaming. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy?
Yeah, this is my first time meeting him too. Meeting him. I've been playing Halo like late at night.
Johnny C asked if you're buying calls and lot lizards.
What's up, Johnny?
I know I need to hop on the Halo grind, but I feel like it's gonna slay my time. I've been so fucking busy lately.
Matches go by quick, man. I'm surprised.
Do they have ranked right now?
That's all I've been playing, yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's fun. The lot lizards.
I
I forgot about that word.
SPY breaking VWAP now. Could get a little bloody. What time is it? Got about 30 minutes left. VIX is down 16% today. Bouncing off the OTS trail on VIX though. We want to see VIX get back below 19, 20, still around 23, so it's still a little high. The dollar's slowly creeping up too. It's doing it at a pace that no one's really paying attention to it, but it's almost back to the high. The yields are also going up, which is not good for growth. Car G, yeah, I was watching Car G yesterday. Oh, damn, look at that. It popped up 5%. Yeah, nice little buy on that.
I like their UI the best out of all the used car websites,
Car Gurus, yeah, for sure.
and I like how it also compares and like gives you that like rating, whether it's like a good deal, fair deal or whatever.
Yep.
I think that's kind of what made them popular, was that whole whether or not you're getting a good deal.
Yeah, it's basically the platform that tries to tell you if they're fucking you or not.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you end up going back?
They said they're going to have their guy come out on Thursday and fix the scratch. I didn't tell them I'd buy it. I told them I'd take a look at it after they fix the scratch, and
Nice.
if it was fully gone, I'd probably still try to talk them down like $2,000, and then I'd buy it.
Yeah.
They clearly want to sell it if they keep blowing my phone up.
Exactly, dude.
It's funny because my dad bought that Cadillac from them, and he's like the complete opposite of me. He's like extremely impulsive. And I was talking to the manager because he remembered my dad. And I was like, yeah, dude, this is not going to be like the sale with my dad. My dad is extremely impulsive. He already knew he was buying it the second he fucking saw the thing. So he didn't have to negotiate with my dad at all. He could have probably charged my dad more. He would have paid for it.
They love those kind of buyers.
Oh, yeah. My mom was telling me that she was trying to like ask them all these questions and like trying to negotiate a little bit. And my dad was like, just do it. Just do it. Just fucking buy it. But he got a good price because, like I said, he took it to his buddy's house and his buddy offered him fucking like 10K over what he paid cash. He offered him like 65K fucking cash right in the driveway.
Should have done it, then went back and bought another one.
Well, they're really hard to find. That's why the guy wanted it so bad. It was only on their lot for like 2 days when my dad went up there and bought it. Because they made like less than 1,000 of this specific model, so they're like really hard to find. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten a speeding ticket yet.
He get the 4-door or the 2-door?
It's a two-door, I believe. I think it's a two-door. It's like that iconic silver the Cadillac makes, like their special silver. Yeah, I'm not sure which one that is, Johnny. Rumble. I don't think I've heard of that. We're not in the SPAC game anymore, Johnny. We got rugged on FMAC and what was the other one we traded?
Which
CA
one's the Discord one?
FMAC. Yeah. Went up like fucking, what, 100% after hours, then came all the way back down, so we couldn't even sell it. So stupid. And then it was like the CAC or some shit like that, the communications one. Spy's actually giving away all its gains. All its gains besides the gap, obviously. CFVI. Let me see. What's the rumor with this one? Who are they taking public? Oh, damn, this thing ripped. See, like, these are the moves that you can make money on the SPACs. Like, if you get in early and get in around $10, then it goes to like 12, 13. That's a good fucking gain. Thing went to 15.50. That's a really good gain if you were able to catch that. Went to 16 after hours. How is FMAC doing? Just look at FMAC. It's below $10 now. That's a fucking rug.
Look at the volume on that thing.
Yeah, it's dog shit. It had volume that one spike. That's it. What a joke. This is why SPACs are bullshit. So here you go. We talked about this earlier. Here was this bearish fib that we laid out on Qs. You already hit 2 of your targets. Next 2 targets are around 396.30 and 396.20. So once you've failed that pivot, you're triggering your targets now. Final target would be 395.90. This would obviously be a very small scalp. It's on the 1-minute chart. Oh, yeah, Rumble. Yeah, that's right. Dime was talking about that. The alternative to YouTube. To be honest, man, YouTube is like a cult. No one stands a chance against YouTube. The only way a company would stand a chance against YouTube is if it was like a near identical website, but it paid the creators better. Like maybe it paid better, like sub-wise or ad revenue-wise. I don't know, but that's like the only shot you have in getting people to use your website over YouTube. And how are you going to outpay Google? And how are you going to outpay Google on ads when they have one of the most diversified ad businesses in the entire space? If not the best ad business, besides like Facebook, maybe. So it's going to be very difficult. Especially now that YouTube is starting to take a lot of market share from Twitch, and they're buying up streamers left and right. So now they're not only just like normal videos, they're video game streaming. Those businesses are extremely expensive to run too. Like look at Microsoft. They tried to start up Mixer and compete against Twitch, and they got slaughtered. Absolutely slaughtered. They rugged themselves too. They fucking spent millions and millions of dollars on bringing people like Ninja and Shroud and all these other massive streamers at the time. They bought them out for like 2-year contracts, 3-year contracts. Their fucking business didn't even last a year. So they had to pay out these 2 to 3 year multi-million dollar contracts when their business went under in less than a year. Because they could not get the viewership. It's almost like it's too late for competitors to come out. And It's sad that we've gotten to that point. It's almost like a monopoly, but we pretty much are at that point. The competitors had to be around when YouTube and Twitch were taking off in the early 2000s. Twitch is kind of like late 2000s, I guess. They're kind of both mid, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Like, they would have to come out around that same time and be well established. Trying to fight YouTube, it's near impossible. Like, what do you do if you want to fix your car and you don't know how? If you want to fucking, I don't know, fix your water heater, what do? You go on YouTube. You want to find a recipe or something, you want to cook something for dinner, you go on YouTube. It's like everything you fucking do, you go on YouTube. They're going for the free speech angle. Yeah, I think that stuff, like kind of like what Trump is doing, trying to make his own media group and whatnot. The problem is, I don't know how much I can really say on you. I don't want to get fucking banned. But yeah. I don't know. Give me a second. I'll think about how to say this without getting banned. Essentially, these companies can do whatever the fuck they want. Unless Congress steps in and tells them, hey, you can't do that, they can do whatever they want. They're big enough to do whatever they want. And the problem with starting, like, for example, when they kicked off Trump from Twitter and they were starting all these new platforms like Gab and whatever that other one was, I can't remember the name of it. The problem when you start these alternative platforms, it's going to be an echo chamber. You're not going to get people from the left or from your opposing side to join your platform. It's all going to be your one side. So it's going to become a massive echo chamber. The beautiful thing about Twitter, even though Twitter is completely fucking one-sided and they only ban mostly conservatives or people on that side, for the most part, you can get ideas, thoughts, whatever you want to call it, from every side, every angle. Now, one side is definitely monitored more than the other, but you have people on like every single walk of life on Twitter. If you start trying to make your own alternative platform, you're only going to have people from that one subset of people. It's going to be a very niche community. So those businesses are not going to do very well, I don't think. And I like Trump. I think he's got a good idea for what he's trying to do. But even his business, even how big he is, I don't think it's going to do very well. We'll have to see what happens. Little retest on this pivot here on Qs. And now we're selling off. I think if like YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and all these other businesses, if they keep going down the path that they're going and they're censoring all kinds of people, not just conservatives, they're censoring all kinds of people. The censorship period is not a good look. If they keep censoring and these other businesses come out that are like not censoring anything, I think those businesses will slowly start to take off. Once it gets to a point where it's like, what the fuck, dude, I can't say anything. What time is it? We got about 12 minutes left. It looks like We're kind of stabilizing on SPY and Qs. Doesn't look like it wants to go much lower. How's it doing on VWAP? It's pretty far below VWAP here. Where is the pivot on Bitcoin weekly? Let me see. The main pivots on Bitcoin are 52.7 and I think there's a weekly one down here. 38,000. Those are the two pivots that were kind of stuck between 52.7 and 38,000. There's also a monthly pivot at 57.6. That's the monthly pivot that nuked us. As soon as we lost that pivot and we closed below it, we went straight down. But 52.7 is the big boy. That's the one that you want to pay the most attention to. Pulling back to VWAP on ES. We already broke the VWAP on SPY. You're trying to get those secondary targets on Qs. This is kind of what I was talking about in Discord, where it was feeling like those days where we pumped really hard in the morning and then we sold off the rest of the day. But we didn't sell off the rest of the day. We only sold off during power hour. So it's not as bad. Massive sell volume coming in on Qs here. People are offloading. Look at this volume coming in. It's the biggest volume of the day, except for the open. That pivot retest was really clean for a short entry. Secondary targets have been hit. So first target, second target, final target is 39569. Nice little bounce so far off that target. I saw somebody else signed up for the YouTube like paid member thing on my channel. It doesn't tell me. I can't find like where it tells me who signed up. So I don't know who the second person was, but whoever you were, I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the channel. The first person I know who it is because you commented on one of my videos and it shows me that you're a member. The second person, I have no idea. Very low buy volume, most likely shorts closing, profit taking. Nice little spike there on low volume too. Looks like we're not able to lose these 396 levels. Very nice move here. Look at this. See if we can reclaim this pivot. Get above the pivot, you're looking for the 200 EMA and the 618 around 397 and 17 cents. Very good volume now. Volume's coming in. What's going on with CVAX? CVAX getting a lot of volume here on my scanner. Actually bouncing off a daily pivot here. Nice little inverse head and shoulders. Doesn't look too bad. All right, here's the spike. There's the 200 EMA. Let's see if we can get the 618. Struggling at the 200 EMA a little bit. So if you guys were in this short, when we took this, where'd we take this from? We took this from, I think my fib got all messed up. One second. I think it was supposed to be here. There you go. So what I was saying was, if you took this as like a little breakout from the lower levels, once you hit your first target, hit your second target, and then you pull back through the first target, you want to be closing this. So like if you were short from way back here, you don't want to let a winning trade become a losing trade. So if you ever go to your second targets and then back to your first, and it doesn't start to fail, you want to close that when it's coming back. So basically it just makes it so it's like you took all of your profit at the first target and then a little bit at the second, right? That is a way to make it so you don't end up losing a winning trade. Okay, so we hit the 200, hit the 618. Now we're actually hitting the full retracement. We can actually extend this. If we took this entire move, this would give us our fibs of the entire sell-off. So if this was a very strong, like bearish trend, you should have stayed below the 382. You did not do that. So this is pretty bullish here. But you are still failing the 618, so you're not out of the downtrend just yet. This would be like the sell zone here. So the 50 and the 618 would be the sell zone, which we're currently failing. If it gets above this level, you'd be looking for the pivot around 398.11. You fail this level, you're looking for the 382. And then probably also the pivot on the low side. You could still take shorts with a conviction here as long as you're not breaking the 618. We're bouncing off the anchored VWAP from the high. You can see how we failed the anchored VWAP pretty much every test on the way down. Now we are flipping it. Pretty bullish. We got about 2 minutes left, so it's probably going to close right where it is. Very nice recovery right on the close. Same thing with SPY. Beautiful recovery on SPY. Okay, here's the break of the 618. So if this wasn't the end of the day, you would be looking for the pivot because you're breaking the downtrend. You flip the anchored VWAP, breaking the 618. Very nice V reversal, high volume. Looking really good. If you were in this short, you most likely would be getting stopped out or closing. Are we going to get the pivot right at the close? That'd be nice. Look at this. Come on, a little more. I don't think it's going to get it. Only 3 seconds left. No, it didn't get it. Very close. Yeah. Broke the 618. You look for the pivot. And then look for the full retrace. Nice flip on the anchored VWAP. All right, daily close looking pretty good. We did put a nasty little gap down here at 386 on Qs. And we have a gap around 458 on SPY. If this continues strong tomorrow, you really only need to break that 471 area. Once you break that, it should be pretty damn bullish. On Qs, you need to break that 401 area, that kind of dead cat sell-off point. Once you break 401, looks pretty good. But all right, guys, I'm going to call it on that. Appreciate you guys being here. As always, we'll have the morning call tomorrow in Discord at 9 a.m. I'll be posting the analysis later today, so make sure to check that out. If you guys are not in Discord, I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So make sure to stop by. That's all I got for you. You guys have a good rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow.